Ear podcast. My name is Frank. I'm the host of the show. On this podcast, I discuss and review movies new and old. If you'd like to support the show, there's a QR code right here on the left. Please feel free, if you can, to click on that, or you can help to offset the cost of the show by going to our X page, which is at Bend Your Ear Pod, and click on the tip jar. Now, I am going to be discussing and reviewing Witness for the Prosecution, the 1957 film, co-written and directed by Billy Wilder. Before I get into that, though, a couple other housekeeping items. You can email the show at benjourearpodcast@gmail.com. This show is available in video format on the following platforms: X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and Instagram. So you can watch video versions of the show on any one of those platforms. If you do watch on YouTube, if you could click and subscribe on there so you'll get notifications when the show does go live. I'm trying to increase the subscriber base, so if you could do that, that would help a lot. And also rate and review. The audio version of this podcast is pretty much available wherever you get podcasts. If you go to your search engine, type in the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast, you can easily find it. It is available, among other services, on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and you can also go to the website directly if you want to download episodes. That is letmebendyourear.com is the website. So feel free to go there. All the episodes all the way back to episode 1 are available there at the website. So I encourage you to check that out as well. If you can share on social media, I'm on X all the time. If you can repost or interact with me, I love to interact with other movie fans on X. And I am on Instagram, of course, as well, at Bend Your Ear Pod. As I stated, you can get video episodes there. And again, the email is benjourearpodcast@gmail.com. All right, so let's get into the movie. So Witness for the Prosecution was co-written and directed by Billy Wilder. Now, regarding Billy Wilder, of course, writer-director of renown, an Oscar winner, has directed some phenomenal movies. This is only the second film of his that I am reviewing for the podcast. There's plenty more I will get to down the line. Obviously he's known for a lot of them: Sunset Boulevard, The Apartment with Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, among others. The other movie I reviewed for this podcast, directed by Billy Wilder, was the film noir classic Double Indemnity. So if you want to go in the back catalog and listen to that review, that podcast, that's episode number 118. So again, the easiest way to find it is, don't try to go through the back catalog. 2 ways you can do it. If you just type in episode 118, Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast, it should pop up links for you. I actually, tonight before I jumped on, did AI asked me to give me the episode number of Double Indemnity for this podcast. It gave it right to me. So 2 easy ways to find it without having to scroll through to find that particular episode. But again, Double Indemnity is on episode 118 of this podcast. All right. So Witness for the Prosecution. I've seen this movie a couple of times. I watched it over the weekend for this episode. I'm a big fan of the movie. It is a 1957 film, as I stated, co-written and directed by Billy Wilder. Now, this is based on an Agatha Christie story. I think it was actually a play originally. The cast includes Tyrone Power, Marlena Dietrich, Charles Lawton, and Elsa Lanchester. This is I guess it's a film noir, but I'm going to get into one of the things I love about the movie the most. So obviously, when you have Billy Wilder, he's known for being an outstanding writer, having great dialogue, a lot of humor mixed in with the subjects he talks about. So Witness for the Prosecution is no exception. So the basic story is, we have Barrister Wilford Robards, played by the great Charles Lawton. So he's about getting ready to retire after suffering a heart attack. As he's brought home finally from the hospital, as the movie opens, a gentleman named Leonard Vole is brought in by his personal attorney to try to get Sir Wilford to defend him in a murder trial. So Wilford is arrested and charged with killing his killing a woman. Sorry, let me get back. He's arrested and charged with murdering an older woman that we find out as the movie progresses that he had a friendly relationship with a much older woman that was kind of infatuated with him. He's an inventor, really not making a lot of money. And she just found him to be very charming and wanted to spend time with him. And she ends up dead, and he is accused of her murder. So Leonard is married to a German wife, Christine, played by Marlene Dietrich, who he met in World War II and brought her. She was in Germany. He brought her back home and married her. So that's the basic setup of the story. So, to the consternation of Sir Wilfrid's nurse, played wonderfully by Elsa Lanchester. It was funny because I was watching this movie with my mother, and she loves old movies. She immediately, when she saw the name and saw her, said it was she played the Bride of Frankenstein, which I actually didn't even make the connection. And then my wife said, wait a minute, not that. She was also in Mary Poppins. So Elsa Lanchester, obviously in some fantastic classic movies in her career. So Sir Wilfrid, of course, agrees to defend Vole on this murder charge. So the title witness for the prosecution really comes into play because Christine's wife, and it's not a spoiler alert, it's kind of essential to the plot, so I do have to kind of talk about it. I won't get too deep into it, but she ends up being a witness for the prosecution. So you probably ask if you have any, knowledge of legal rules. And if you've seen any other legal drama, you know that wives or spouses are not compelled to testify against the other spouse. So there's a right of privilege there to protect that union. So that's spoken about in the movie. That's kind of explained why that's able to happen. I'm not going to get into it really. It's not a huge spoiler, but there's no reason for me to say it now. You can watch the movie and see that story unfold because there is a flashback early in the film where you find out how Leonard and Christine meet in Germany. He brings her back, and kind of the dynamic of their relationship is played out as the movie progresses. So I'll leave it at that. And also, one of my favorite things about the movie is now Charles Lawton, the actor, is known to me from three, including this movie, three distinct performances. I haven't seen the entire body of work of Charles Lawton's career, but he played Quasimodo, of course, in Hunchback of Notre Dame, classic film. He's the lead in this film, and he's also a supporting character in Spartacus, 1960s Stanley Kubrick epic. And he plays a senator in Spartacus. And I have not reviewed Spartacus for this podcast, but he's phenomenal in Spartacus. And he's phenomenal pretty much in anything. And he's great in this movie as well. He's hilarious. He's given, great dialogue from Billy Wilder. It's just, the movie is just, it's a comedy almost all the way through, especially the interactions between Wilfrid and the nurse and his nurse, trying to keep him from dying of a heart attack, actually getting him medicated. You can tell they have the love-hate relationship. He basically, at the beginning of the film, threatens to murder her, or wishes that he could murder her and get away with it because she's so annoying to him. But she cares about him, obviously. And that's a relationship that is very important to him, even though he talks very badly about her. But that stuff is funny. Just the way the trial progresses as he's defending him is funny. That whole performance, that's really the main reason to watch this movie. Obviously, trying to figure out why the wife is testifying against the husband is the mystery element of it. Did the husband actually commit the murder? Also, actually, in Agatha Christie style, you don't really know until the end of the movie when it's revealed who the killer is, if it's him, if it's not him. But like I said, that's almost secondary to the fun of the movie, the comedy of the movie, interspersed with the drama of the murder trial. And this is what Billy Wilder brings to this movie, and this is why it's a fantastic movie. It just brings that element of just great dialogue, great actors. performing the dialogue. It's just a very entertaining film. And as I watched it again, I hadn't watched it for quite a long time actually. I have it on DVD, put it in and watched it, and just enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it before, and just remembered how great the Charles Lawton performance is. So whether you're a fan of his or not, obviously, if you're a fan, if you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. If you're not a fan, I think it will make you a fan. But again, like I said, the trial, the movie goes through the trial, and then you find out what happens at the end. There is a twist or two in the end, to be honest with you, and I'll leave it at that. So, like I said, the ending of the movie has a couple of twists that are entertaining and fun. But again, really, the main reason to watch this movie is really to enjoy a great lead performance by Charles Lawton. Is when I see movies like this, and when I see actors embracing a role that's big and funny with great dialogue, you can almost see the actors enjoying a role like that. And I'd be shocked if he didn't, but I can see the enjoyment he brings to the role and the joy with which he delivers this dialogue. And like I said, it's fantastic. Marlene Dietrich, of course, is, very good as well. Tyrone Power as the lead is good. And this is actually, I think, the only Tyrone Power movie I've ever seen. And I know he's had an extensive career, I think mostly in the 40s, 50s. I don't know if it went into the 60s, but this is, probably the only film I've seen him in. And he's good as well because his role is kind of tricky because he's playing, kind of like what's the word I want to look for? He's an inventor. He hasn't really found his way. He's kind of, not really having a sound income. So they kind of play him or he plays the role, or the performance is him early on in the movie. And throughout the film is kind of not a rube. That's probably the wrong word, but he's just basically trying to live his life. He can't believe this happened to him. He doesn't understand why he's on trial for murder. He befriended this woman. They were friends. He didn't think it was anything more than that. He doesn't even imagine that she was infatuated with him at all. He doesn't even get why all of this has happened. And as the trial is commencing, you could just see him looking dumbfounded about what happened. So that's how he plays it. And like I said, he's fine as well. Elsa Lanchester, as I said earlier, is fantastically funny as his nurse. So she goes toe to toe with Lawton. So that dynamic, as I said, is probably the most entertaining part of the film. Their dynamic, their back and forth, their banter is quite entertaining, quite funny. So again, big fan of the movie, loved it all the way through. I think it clocks in a shade under 2 hours. It doesn't feel like it at all. It's like I said, it's very entertaining to watch. I know it was nominated, I think, for Best Picture of the year that year it came out. And like I said, Billy Wilder is a legend in Hollywood, and this film is just another one of his great movies. And like I said, I'll review more of them as I go through the podcast. As I said, this is the second one that I'm doing of his. But as far as Witness for the Prosecution, out of 5 stars, I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 stars out of 5. So on that scale, for me, it's a fun movie to watch. I highly recommend that you check it out. If you're a fan of legal dramas, of mysteries, of even comedy, of funny, witty dialogue that's from that era, from the 50s. You get a lot of those films were driven by fantastic dialogue, fantastic banter, and this movie is no exception. So I definitely recommend Witness for the Prosecution. 4 stars out of 5 on my scale. Again, don't know if it's available for streaming anywhere. I didn't really check that. Like I said, I have a copy of it on DVD, so I watched it that way. But again, I'm sure you can probably find it, whether on Tubi or if you want to rent it, if it's available. I'm sure it's a couple of dollars to rent. So again, I'm going to go 4 stars out of 5 for Witness for the Prosecution, co-written and directed by the great Billy Wilder. So again, I want to thank all the listeners and watchers to the podcast. If you've been listening lately, like I said, my goals for 2026 is to really be more consistent in getting episodes out. I've made, I think, some good progress in that realm, to have at least 1 episode a week out, maybe sometimes 2. I think I'm a little bit past a week here, but again, I really want to get on here and get those episodes out. So again, if you watch the episodes video wise, if you can, especially on YouTube, please, if you can, subscribe. You have the option, if you subscribe, to get notifications when the show goes live. Then you can watch it live. Or if you're not going to watch it live, just subscribe and you just turn the notifications off. If you could do that, that would help me a lot. That would help the show a lot, because I want to build and increase the subscriber base, and also really use the video to help drive people to the audio podcast as well. This started as an audio podcast. This is what it always will be. And I enjoy doing the video component, but I want to also drive the traffic to the audio podcast if people don't want to see video and want to listen to it. So again, you can listen to the podcast pretty much wherever you get them. I stated some of the platforms at the top of the show, but again, if you want to, anywhere you listen, just put the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast in the search. It should pull up. If it doesn't for some reason, like I said, you can do a quick AI query or go to Google and it'll tell you wherever it's available. But again, it's on all the major platforms, and wherever you listen to it. If you do listen to the show, if you're already subscribing, thank you very much. If not, please click subscribe. You'll get notifications when shows upload to the feed. And if you can rate and review, that also helps the show as well. Don't ask me how it helps, but I do know that the more ratings and reviews a show gets, the higher, I call it the algorithm, the higher particular show will show up in searches for people that are maybe searching for a movie review podcast. If you know friends or family that might like a new one, please recommend it. I would appreciate that as well. And like I said, I am always on X, at Bend Your Ear Pod is the handle. If you want to talk to me there, DM me there, that's great. If you can repost new episodes that I post, that'd be fantastic. And like I said, X is also a place where you can watch the video version of this podcast as well. So I appreciate all the support. And like I said, the downloads are trending upward, which I'm very, very happy about. So like I said, I'm going to continue to provide episodes as often as I can. I want to continue to drive those downloads up. It's very gratifying to see that. I really appreciate that people are listening to the show and hopefully enjoying it and hopefully recommending it to other people. You can email the show if you have any questions. The email is bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. And like I said, if you have the ability to support the show, the QR code, if you're watching the video, is right here on the left. Or you can go to the X page at Bend Your Ear Pod and click on the tip jar. That'll help support and offset the cost of running the show. So again, thank you for all the support. Again, Witness for the Prosecution, directed by Billy Wilder, starring the great Charles Lawton. I'm giving 4 stars out of 5. And again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And